Hey everyone, Brian Butler, Smart Tech. Wanted to take a moment and give you a quick marketing minute. So, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that geofencing is a super powerful tool that's a lot more accessible than you realize. So, what's geofencing? Geofencing is a tactic where we can take your business, we can target either competitors, we can target locations where your clients typically are, and we can draw a circle around that location essentially on a map. And anytime someone walks into that circle, we tag that with a IP address targeting. So essentially, if you were to come to Fred Meyer, for example, and we wanted to target you for one of our cheese brands that we're representing at Fred Meyer, we would target that Fred Meyer. And then what we would do essentially is find people who walk into Fred Meyer, and then we would remarket to them with ads that were for that specific cheese brand. It's super powerful. It's got a lot of opportunity, and it's pretty accessible to small brands. We have brands who are doing it for anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month, and it gets really, really good quality traffic that you can drive yourself to. Or drive traffic to. So something I thought people would really like is understanding a little bit more about how it's possible and some of the limitations. So one of the things that we do at geofencing, we have a quick service restaurant. It's like a fast food restaurant. Last year alone, we did over 21,000 store visits that we drove directly to that store. How do we do that? Simple enough. We targeted competitors in the fast food space, but we didn't just target Burger King or McDonald's, your typical fast food people. We targeted the premium adjacent brands. So think about your Whole Foods, your New Seasons, your Market of Choice, your Chipotle maybe, your Five Guys burgers and fries, a little more a higher tier. Your burger is going to be a little more expensive, right? And then what we did is we put a geofence called a proximity fence around the location that we have in that state, for example. And anybody who was at the location prior, so let's say Whole Foods, who then comes to our location and goes into our geofence, gets tagged with what we call a proximity target. That proximity target allows us to then track that conversion as someone who's engaging in our brand. Super powerful, like I said. We made, on average, I think it was around $2 per sale was our average order value, or average cost per order, pardon me. And so our average order value on that, if we look at our fast food restaurant, that's usually going to be around $21 per person. And that person may come back over and over again if they've never heard of us. So that opportunity cost is very, very low, and the ROAS potential is very high. Now, let's look at some other opportunities. So we have a client that does high-end products. They are an international brand. They have products that average around $400 per shoe. We targeted the Super Bowl last year, and the Super Bowl was here in Vegas. And with that, we were able to target not only the Super Bowl, but all the nearby hotels that were right around the Super Bowl, some of the other vendors that were in that area as well. And we targeted that Super Bowl not just on the day of the Super Bowl, but we targeted it for the full week. So what did that do? Well, it got us owners, it got us reps, it got us people who are going there to prepare, it got us different teams, different team members as they were coming in, different players as they were coming in. And then on the day of the Super Bowl, we also collected an audience. So what does that do? We know that that audience is full of people who can afford to pay the ridiculous amount of money it costs to go to the Super Bowl. That also gives us the ability to collect an audience we know can likely afford our product, right? So then 2 weeks after that event, we started running ads into that audience. And what we were able to do is pre-qualify the audience, serve a highly qualitative ad to an audience we knew was going to be able to afford our product. And from there, we were able to grow our impressions and grow our reach dramatically with that audience. Now, one bit of caution that I think is important for people to know: as you start going smaller and smaller in your audience size, your CPM, so for those who don't know marketing speak, CPM is your cost per thousand impressions. That's typically what like a programmatic or a display ad, or even a TV ad, or maybe even a TV ad on your OTT. So if you have that content available to you, you're going to be usually paying around $7 to $12 per CPM on a higher level. With a geofence, you're going to be playing a little bit more depending on how small the audience is. I can tell you we are probably closer to around the 7 to 10 mark with the fast food restaurant. We're probably closer to around the $32 mark with the Super Bowl. But the $32 for a CPM to target the Super Bowl is unheard of. Even Hulu, if you want to target the Super Bowl or anything close to that, is a minimum of $45 per cost per thousand impressions. So if you think about the affordability, how easy it is to get yourself into a situation where you can actually target a location or target an audience based on a location. The opportunity is really quite strong. And for local small businesses, you may want to reconsider, is that something where we should be looking at how do we get in front of that core audience? And where does our core audience go? What kind of locality does that core audience go to, right? Where do they visit, right? Are they going to the mall? Are they going to an event? Are they going to a Vegas Knights game? Are they going to the Super Bowl? What does that audience look like? The last use case is conventions. So we had the same client was also presenting at Magic that year. Magic is a convention here in Vegas. It's built for the fashion industry. Most of the products are to be represented there are for wholesalers to come in, finding new retailers, finding new opportunities, right? So our client does offer a retail wholesale relationship with other vendors. So we targeted Magic, but the ads were specific to the idea of becoming a wholesaler, someone who would buy from us as a brand and then resell the product in their house. So I guess technically a reseller. We were able to get in front of a lot of the people at Magic who we knew were going in with that mentality. And the ads we were able to serve them were very specific. It was explicitly to that wholesale retail kind of mentality, that messaging. So that's just a couple of examples. Again, don't sleep on geofencing. Geofencing is hugely valuable. Now, one last caveat before I let you guys go. If you've stuck with me so far, thank you for that. Appreciate it. This obviously is interesting to you. So if you have questions, let me know. But the last example here, I think was really interesting. Oregon recently passed a law making it so where businesses in Oregon are not able to do the same level of geofencing that we have been. Now, you can do awareness-based geofencing, saying that I can target people in a geofence that is within 1 mile. And proximity targeting, as far as targeting people who are at a specific location, like that 15-foot window around your business entrance, that is not going to be available in Oregon going forward because of their proximity targeting privacy laws that they're recently passing. So we can do geofencing still in Oregon, but it's important to know that accuracy, the level of granularity is going to be lower, and it's likely going to be a little bit less of a specific kind of a sniper focused approach, right? It's a little bit more of a pulled back, broader approach. So if you're interested in geofencing, we have a lot of different solutions for that. We have a lot of different strategies that we can give you. And so with that, again, Smart Tech has a lot of really cool opportunities with that. We'd love to be able to help you. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this marketing minute, and I will, I guess marketing 7 minutes at this point, but I'll try to get back to you in the comments.